would continue till here, this would continue till here, and this on the first one. So you will have like a really natural, gradual decline of this you know, the trills. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Homemain TV. So for this episode, I actually went to the community in Reddit, the composer community, and I asked them to send me scores for review. And it was overwhelming because everybody sent me a lot of stuff, but today I reviewed 3 of them, and without further ado, let's go. So the first score is by Chance Fullerton. It's called Once in a Dream, Someone Like You. It's for full orchestra. Let's go. Alrighty, beautiful, beautiful. I love it. So let's see. First, so I'm just gonna start from above and tell you some practical stuff. So in general, original score is not really necessary to write here. And by the way, I'm a bit of a nitpicker even with my own score, so don't hate me. But let's go. Original score here. What you can do is to actually write, for example, for orchestra. That's good. And then under it, write score in C. And if you are giving this score, I mean all of you, if you are giving score to an orchestra, to a conductor, the score should always be score in C, because conductors just want to see which note is what, and then they just want to move on. They don't want to transpose in the moment. So if you have a clarinet or a horn, they just want to be able to see it on the spot and see what note that is, so they can move on with whatever they are doing. And so just write score in C, transpose your score into C, and then it's all good to go. Okay, and now let's go a little bit more. The other thing is that you don't really need to write the comp here. This is not necessary because the right side is always for the composer and the left side is usually for the lyricist. So this is like a typical thing. It's no matter what you do, this is just that. So no need to write the comp in there. The second thing is that your tempo, this is actually, I checked it also with someone else to see if I'm wrong. Tempo 130, if you put it in front of orchestra members, they're going to think, oh, whoa, 130, you know, it's going to be like a trance, like really fast, you know, like tick tock, really, really, really fast. And they're going to panic a bit. And so 130 is doesn't make sense for this. And what conductor is going to do is also is going to conduct this probably in 2 and not in 4. So, I mean, what if you guys think it's different, let me know in the comment section. But to me, it's more like da dee da dee. It's not like da dee da dee. It's more like da dee da dee. So, you know, and these are also in 2. Okay, so 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So this should be like a alla breve or just 2, 2. Oop. Like this. Well, this thing is not really listening to me. Well, sad. Yeah, I mean, you get the point, right? That is 2, 2. Yeah, well, doing the weird stuff here. And then your tempo would be half of this, right? So for example, 60 or 60, 62, do we have 62, I guess? And the other thing is that always write, is this just aesthetic, and also it helps musicians to actually write a tempo here and write like a literal tempo in Italian, you know? And for example, you can write andante, andante con moto, you know, with movement. And if you don't know them, and if you want to learn them, just open up a Google and write Italian tempo terms. And then you get a lot of them with also some of this stuff, okay? So you can just figure out based on whatever you're doing, you know? So this was what I said, 76, for example, or 66. Or here, maybe. And then under that, you can write something in English. For example, from the heart, or you know, something expressive that you feel that matches the score. You know, because you have to always put yourself in the shoe of the musicians and the audience. And in this situation, where the musicians are looking at your score, they want to see in the first glance, what is your thought, you know? So, and then if you have an andante or adagio there, it helps to already set the mood other than the 130, you know, because 130 is a bit too much for that. Let me see. I had these dot thingies. Oh yeah, and time signatures I already told you, 2, 2. Let's go down a bit. What's this one? Oh yeah, this one is a very important one. Actually, I have a video about this. This is debatable, but to me, your music is not tonal. You know, it's modal music. And if you have modal music, it's better not to have a key signature. Because look, this is already a D minor or F major key signature, right? And you already have a D flat here, and it's contradictory with what you see, because you're like, and when you listen to it, you feel like, oh, in the beginning, is it major or minor? So it sounds a bit like a minor, but if it's a minor, it should be D minor, right? But then there is a flat on D minor. So it's a bit contradictory to what what the music is being heard, I mean, how it's being heard and what it is on the score. So I suggest you remove this at all and just write like an atonal key signature, so without anything, and just let your accidentals just flow naturally as to where they are going. It's not really necessary to have, as you see, you know, it's like full of accidentals. And as long as you don't, I mean, all of you guys, as long as you don't have your piece fully tonal, you know, that you mean it in a tonal way, that you start from one like a sonata, you know, like an old school sonata or something. And you start from something, from a tonal center, and you end up in another tonal, and you go back to that tonal center. Don't write a key signature, you know, because it's also confusing for people who are playing it. But actually I have a video for that, so make sure to watch that. But okay, let's go. The other thing that I saw that's not necessary, I'm going to zoom in a bit so you guys can see. You have its breath marks here, and this is also what I checked with actually a clarinetist. This is not necessary. Like when you have a breath mark, like imagine they're playing it and then they're just breathing tiny breath here, you know, for the phrasing. And then they see this, they'll be like, okay, so we were already doing that. And if you're a good musician and if there's a good conductor, they know already that this is the phrase is going to start. So this is where less is more. So you don't really need to put this, and also this is a bit of a rare, it's quite rarely used, this thing. If you want, maybe just put like a tiny comma, you know, like, okay, this, why are you not working? Yeah, like, annoying. Wait, like a comma, you know, like this. Like imagine this is a comma. That would be better than this, you know, because this looks like something special. And in general, you don't really need to put it there, you know. It's okay to not have it. Okay. Oh yeah, and the last thing I wanted to say regarding the notation is that when you have this is also debatable, so you can actually talk with the conductor to see if they like it or not. But if you have a score, if you have a score that in some page there's nothing in there, like here, you can actually just remove everything here in this page, and because it's not necessary, you know, these are like empty, and it makes it a bit complicated to, I mean, I can imagine like for you also when I'm going down, you're like, okay, what's happening here? So just remove it. It's not really necessary. First page is always necessary because you have to, conductor needs to know what instruments are going to be in the piece, but other than that, it's not necessary at all, so you can remove it. But always contact your conductor to see what's going to happen. Now, let's talk about some composition-y stuff and color stuff. You know what I want you to try to do is to try to come out of a sense of making boxes, okay? So 2, 2, 4, 4, everything binary, okay? Like, for example, you have this thing here, right? Now imagine how magical would have been if this would continue till here, this would continue till here, and this on the first one. So you will have like a really natural, gradual decline of this, you know, the trills. And now this is where we're going into a bit like a micro, what's it called? Micro polyphony, because we're really looking in detail. So really try to see maybe in your other piece to see what you can do with this kind of textures, you know, like how can you change them, or how can you grow from one to the other, and then you will see how fun, how more fun that it becomes, you know. Or for example, when you have sometimes when you have diminuendos like this here, you can have one after, because you have this one, da dee da dee, one of them actually goes up. So it's like, oh, hey, I'm coming back, and then it leads to this note here. Okay, so try to experiment with this and see how, like, for example, you did here. This is super nice here. This is still going because they were like with this kind of texture, and they still went here, but these guys changed. So you have a bit of a counterpoint here. And the other thing, again, with the color changes and stuff. So you have a very nice piano here. And imagine in real life, it will sound so nice if you have, if you mix the harp with your piano. And I mean, forget about what the movie sounds or what, you know, what is typical. So be yourself. Just try to go crazy with it and see how it sounds. Like imagine if same thing goes here, but then like it grows from this and then gradually comes out and goes down. So it's going to be amazing, you know, like the same thing, but then it goes to like pianissimo, you know, of like 4 pianos or something, really, really, really tiny. And or maybe the other way around. It starts from piano, and then it goes to like a staccato piano, and then sustained, and then it goes out. It will be amazing. And now, some other fun stuff that you can do. Um, don't think of your instruments as what they are right now. See each block of color as something that you can exploit. So if your memorable thing was this melody, right? So you have this da dee da dee. Now imagine if this one, all your second notes, they would have a pluck of harp in them, you know, da bing ba dee, ba bing ba bee, ba bing. And then this one, for example, would have 2 of them. Imagine how magical it would sound, you know, like a really gentle nudge in the sound, and to make them a bit different, to you know, tiny bit of a color change. And yeah, I mean, already I think I talked a lot with this with your piece, and now I'm gonna go to the next one. But I really hope that, I mean, it's useful for you and also for whoever else is watching this, because I mean, hints are hints, and it's just good anyway to learn. Also for me, if you have any other stuff to say about music, or if you think what I'm saying can be done differently, I would really love to know, because I learn from you guys as well. But anyway, let's go to the next piece. All right, this one is from Stephen Yi. It's called Star Circuit 7, completely different style that we had from before. And let's go. Awesome. All right, super cool. I love it. And actually, for you guys that you're watching, I don't know if you noticed, but it's not really 4/4. What do you think it is? You know, it's the time signature. So well, actually, it's 7/4. I actually sent me a score here, and you can see his chords here. And also when you can hear it also that it's not really regular, and it just, like there is a hiccup, which is really cool, and I love it. But now let's see. So let's see what we can do. First off, this is a very taste thing. It's for me, okay? So maybe some people disagree, but for me, it's too many stuff happening in 2 minutes and 31 seconds. I know this is a trend right now to make pieces shorter, but don't let that fool you. Because you have a crazy imagination here, and just let it grow. Let it be as long as it should be. Don't just make it small because like this has to be like a EDM track, which is 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Think of older EDM tracks, or even now like trance songs can be like 10 minutes or something. And then when you have longer time, you have more time to transition between them, to transition between your parts. Then it's not like really sudden. So for example, here, where it goes to the bass, for me is really sudden, after 1 minute. Which is really nice, don't get me wrong. But what you can do is maybe, even if you want to keep this length, I mean, this is already a finished composition, maybe for your other projects. Maybe a bit of a sweep or a riser would have helped to transition to this part as a drop, and the other thing would that maybe a mixing would have been a bit more drastic, a little bit drastic difference in your mixing, so it would really sound like a drop, or actually maybe the riser would have helped more with, because the mix sounds really nice actually to me. So with a riser or some white noise, that would make the soundscape before this drop full, and then it would drop, and then you have the bass and stuff over there. Okay. And the other thing was that perhaps in this part, it would have been nice. I don't know if you played it or if you wrote it like you use the piano roll, or to put the notes in there. It sounds a bit too much quantized, too much really exact stuff. I don't know. Maybe you played it, but to me. But it's also genre specific, If you're going for the tone from like, like the old sounds, 8-bit, Super Nintendo, that kind of sound, that kind of sound color, video game color, really old ones, like, Pokemon stuff. That's nice. Go for this. But if you want to make it more natural, it would be nice if it's a little bit off here and there. But other than that, it's a super nice composition. And oh yeah, the other thing that I wanted to ask you, I mean, I really have to count the beats to get your time signatures. But what you can do is you can sometimes, so not always have 7/4. You can be like 4/4, 4/4, and then 7/4, because then the 7/4 would be surprising, or the other way around. So 7/4, 7/4, 4/4, 7/4. This gives like an extra excitement to what you're doing, and perhaps a little bit of a surprise. But other than that, great stuff, my man. Keep on going, and yeah, let's go to the next piece. All right, this one is called The Heaviest Burden. It's a music for a short film, and it's from Jorge David Iranzo Bartolome. I hope I'm pronouncing your names right in general, but let's go. Super nice. I feel more calm than I was already. Okay. So let's see. Again, a lot of the stuff that I'm gonna say are tasting things, so it's my taste. Because other than that, I think it's a great short piece and it's lovely. So perhaps what you can do with the stuff that I'm saying is can be for the other parts of the film, you know, to develop the motifs, the melodies, you know, to use them in other situations in the film. Okay, let's see. First off, I love that you really wrote like a classical guitar, and it's with notes, not like tablature, because I'm really fan of notes, and I'm also learning guitar with notes, and it is quite a challenge, but it's fun. But the thing that sometimes I'm missing is that you kind of left out some of your instruments, and I'm saying this is for this length is fine, okay? Maybe for later. Is that I would have loved if the piece was like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that you also use other colors more. So for example, not just use your piano or your synths just for you know, chords, because it would be really cool also if you have your synth sound or your piano sound to imitate the melody or to double the melody, you know, with the guitar, and it would just add to the depth of it, you know, because this already is giving like I feel it that it's like the heaviest burden. It is heavy, and perhaps for later, if there is a climax or something in the film, you can double them or use different colors. And the other thing would be that don't be shy to explore a little bit of electronics and mixing possibilities, because it would really add to your music. And so, for example, maybe some interesting reverbs every now and then for example, for this climax here would be really interesting, or some reverbs that would just give some higher partials to these sounds here, and then you would cut it exactly here, you know. Oh, sorry, I clicked. And then you would have you would have a more impact in your climax, and then it would drop. So you can also experiment with stuff like that. Or one other thing that I thought can be nice here, let's hear it one more time. Here can be actually, because you have your synths here, and they're like a pad, like a very decaying pad, but can be also fun for maybe later, that if you put some strings here, that it would raise the whole thing gradually, and then goes down to your guitar here in a guitar solo. But other than that, it's excellent, and I mean, all of your pieces, guys, they're lovely, and I try not to talk more than it's necessary, because it's just it would be like about my ego, you know, not about your piece, like to say, hey, do this, do that, but it's lovely. And just some suggestions with the notation. Would be nice if, for example, you put the piano exactly on top of here, because then it would mean that it's for here. I mean, I'm nitpicking, but that's what I do in my own scores also. And to write some expressions in there, you know, like for example, I would write dolce here, you know, for this piano, or for the synth as well, you know, like really gentle, really soft. But other than that, well done, my friend. And well, yeah, this is the last piece that I'm gonna do for today, because I think it will be a very long video. But stay tuned. If you already have sent me your stuff, I will review them and I'll put them here. Hopefully for next week, probably, or in a couple of days from now. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. And till next time, Homayun out.